Okay, this is how I'm embedding the wires into the styrofoam. I cut a slot with my flush trim cutter. The slot is about 3/4 of an inch deep. And then I push the wires down into the slot with my tri-square, which is a nice flat surface on the bottom to get it in there. So I'll push both these wires in. These are for the clearance lights. And then the other wires that will be at the back area, there will be a slot along here in the middle for a light, entrance light. And then there'll be another slot going over and down to where the switch will be embedded in the rear wall. There'll also be a light in this area for the bathroom, and over there where those two dots, two large circles are, somewhere around there for over the kitchen counter. Maybe in further probably, because I'm planning on putting shelves in that area. A lot more shelves. I only had one shelf in the previous Model 5. In this one I'm planning on 2 or 3 shelves, possibly one big enough to hold a microwave. All right, that's it for now. As you can see, this is the top of the roof. This will be the rear of the roof. There'll be a 2-inch overhang over the rear wall. You can see the mess of wires in there. There's going to be even more. When I flip it over, which I'm going to be doing shortly, I'm going to add 2 more lights in the what will be the front portion of the ceiling, and they'll be before the bend here, so they can sit nice and flat, and one on each side, so everybody gets their own light. Yes, I'm not going to add those wires until I turn it over. Much easier wiring it up from the other side. And these 2 pieces of styrofoam will form the sloping part of the front of the trailer. They'll form the sloping part of the front of the trailer. And as you can see, this has a patch in it because from the bend on, there'll be a slot cut in it every inch. And then after it's all glued together, there'll be a patch put on covering the slots. The slots will all be filled with the spray foam insulation, and it'll be put together in 2 pieces. It's just too much for one person to handle, or even 2 people. I hope to have 3 people when I put the roof on. All right, that's it for now. Okay, what I'm doing now is trying to position a conduit that will feed into the opening for the vent fan, and it will also be in the middle of the wall. That will be the wall in between the bed area and the toilet and shower area. This way I can feed up some DC lines, or somebody can feed up DC lines or AC lines. I'll be feeding up the DC lines for the lights and for the fan itself. But this will give a spot if somebody wanted to put a DC air conditioner in at a later date, which are getting, rooftop DC air conditioning are getting more and more popular. Or if you even wanted to put a regular 120 volt air conditioning unit in, you could feed the power up through the wall. This conduit will carry on down the wall into the utility area under the bed. One thing people should know, there's a lot of misinformation shooting around the YouTube, etc., about DC air conditioners. And a lot of people will tell you that a DC air conditioner is more efficient because it doesn't have a surge on startup. Well, I can tell you that's completely false. A locked rotor motor is a locked rotor motor. It doesn't matter whether it's AC or DC. You are going to get the increase in current whenever this compressor motor starts up, whether it's AC or DC. The advantage a DC air conditioner gives you is while you're boondocking and running off your batteries, you don't have to use an inverter. An inverter usually wastes about 10% of the power going through it. So you're saving 10% of your batteries by using a DC air conditioner. And that's the only advantage. You can see the size of the opening. It's not huge, but you got to remember it has to feed up at least 2 8-gauge wires to handle the amount of current that a DC air conditioner will draw. I've heard some units need about a 2 AWG wire, which 2 AWG wires would probably fit in there. Wouldn't be much room for anything else. Anyway, I have to go get some spray foam now so I can lock this into place. I'm going to add some more lights, and then I'll be ready to skin over this. What you're looking at is going to be the ceiling in the camper. Okay, what I'm doing now, hopefully you can see me, this is the roof and the front of the RV. What I have to do is set up my track saw so that I can extend this part of the roof in exactly the same width to what is going to be the sloping side and the front of the RV. It's not, doesn't have to be exact. The way I'm doing this, there is a bit of margin for error, but I'm hoping to get it as perfect as I can, as perfect a rectangle as I can. So I'll be putting my track saw together and making a cut on both sides. On this side there's extra Phylon fiberglass underneath already glued on. And on that side, that has already been cut the same as that line. So I'm just going to be extending it and cutting the last little bit of foam, where on this side I'll be cutting right down through the foam and through the Phylon. I'll have to put probably some 1/4-inch plywood. I have some 1/8-inch Luan I can use underneath it so I won't damage the top of the trailer. Okay, stop this for a second. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show in this series of videos is you can see all the wire up here. This is where the vent fan is going to mount. I made it bigger so that I can make a positive bus and a negative bus. 4 of these wires are actually the clearance lights for the trailer, but the rest are wires for the lights. You can see where they're poking up here, this being the ceiling of the trailer. Excuse me. And with a positive and negative bus, obviously I'm just going to be able to run up probably a 12-gauge wire to each one of them. I'll fuse it at 15 amps. None of the loads are big. The biggest load will be the fan, but I believe it has its own fuse. At any rate, I'm going to wire this all up to the bus bars ahead of time, and that's going to save a lot of awkward work later on, so I don't have to stand on a little step stool and be all hunched over while I connect all the wires together. And I made it 14 3/4 by 14 3/4 so that I have extra room for the wires to be tucked in there. Okay, that's it for this series of videos. I'm gonna carry on and do some cutting and gluing on more Phylon. And then I'll have to get some help to carry these two. Well, it's actually in two pieces, so my wife and I can carry them and lean them up against the garage door there until they're ready to be installed. Okay, have a good Christmas. Thanks for subscribing and thanks for watching.